Rock Solid Musecast Experience. Aaron, Dave, and a different kind of Patrick today.
P-Funk.
P-Funk. I almost said the old name. I can't say the old name no more. You're not having any of those P. Diddy parties out there, are you?
Oh, man.
He's on the list, but not on that list.
Yeah. Song forthcoming, I guess.
What's that?
They call me P. Diddy's not a compliment anymore, is it?
No.
No, you don't want that name no more.
No.
Well, I could go on and on about P. Diddy, but, you know, why?
Well, P-Funk, you guys got a new album, Faithhead. The Horror of Things to Come. And that's a perfect byline for P. Diddy. The Horror of Things to Come.
It's a very
Diddy.
It's a very happy album.
Oh, yeah. Just,
Yeah,
you know.
it's something you want to listen to around the fireplace, cuddled up with your family.
It's a lot of praise and worship, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Just real quick, do you have a personal favorite?
yeah. I've got a couple.
Favorite on the album.
Probably my favorite is "God Didn't Kill Himself."
Okay.
The title track is one of my faves. I think it because it kind of encapsulates everything. You know, the song is a lament, and it's there's several jewels on there. So, but when you're in the recording process, hearing this stuff. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of this music for like a year and a half. I'm just tired of listening to it now.
See, that's the thing that people don't understand, and I'm sure musicians got it. I know musicians got it. I got it from being in radio. When you work at a classic rock station for like 17 years, Bohemian Rhapsody isn't the greatest song that you think it is, because it's old. Yeah, so do you get tired before the album's out? Do you get tired of the songs before you get to go play them? You're like, I really don't want to play this.
Oh yeah. No, the day that I uploaded the album, for digital distribution and all that. I bet you I didn't listen to it because I bet you I didn't listen to it for like 2 weeks. I was like so sick of listening to the album. It was just like I just couldn't do it anymore. Because we're sitting there listening for like the most minute things and things you got to tweak and fix, and it was. It was a labor.
I get the feeling that you're a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to the mastering of it all.
Well, I have to give credit where credit's due on this one. LeBron Estrada, who's one of our guitar players, he came on around March of 2023 to help me, do the guitar stuff. And he wasn't in the band at the time, but LeBron has put in countless hours and just continuous edits and remix and we had 2 more songs that we wanted to go on the album, but it was like, we kind of had to set us a hard deadline because otherwise we'd be working on it for another year and a half if we let us. But he's put in countless hours and remixed, and he took feedback and adjusted things, and as much, even though I'm the principal songwriter on the album, LeBron he just deserves just as much credit for all the hard work and putting all the nuances on the guitar work that as a bass player I can't do. So and then you got Tyler, who the other guitar player, who came in and added his stuff, and he and LeBron both have got some great guitar solos happening on this album that you just don't hear anymore. You don't hear it on especially in our genre, where solos are kind of an afterthought in the Christian metal genre. And this is, you can call it old school if you want. I don't care. I think it's still it's not what's current. We're kind of going our own way with this one.
Well, let's talk about this for a second. First of all, LeBron Estrada has got to be one of the coolest, not the coolest, but one of the coolest rock and roll guitar player names. Like, there's Yngwie Malmsteen, Nino Betancourt, and LeBron Estrada. See, fits right in.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they know it. He's got the long red hair and beard and everything.
Oh, really? Now I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, one of my personal favorites is the Six-Figure Sermon Writer. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
That song sounds. I haven't listened to the album yet. Shame on me, but
Yeah.
that song sounds like it's right up my alley because I don't like televangelists.
Well,
That way-
ironically, that's the one song that was lyrically was not my idea. That one was one of Adam Reed's last contributions to the album. He had been talking about this song for a long, long time. He's like, "Oh, I'm not quite done with it." I'm like, "Well, just send me what you got." So he sent me the words, and I just kind of, ooh. So I kind of massaged them down a little bit. I heard that opening riff in my head, and the rest is history. And then when LeBron got a hold of it, he added all the cool little pitched harmonic stuff to it, and yeah, it is pretty good. I enjoy that one too.
Well, it hits home. You know, I am, I go to a Assembly of God church, and I know Assembly of God puts out these bucket sermons for pastors to use in their sermons. And I think...
You mean there's a service for pastors to write their sermons?
Dave?
I had no idea.
You're serious?
I'm totally serious here. I had no idea because I was always impressed that they came up with this stuff every week. And now I'm thoroughly disappointed to find out somebody ripped back the curtain and it's a service. Are you serious?
Yeah. They do put out sermon, what would you call those, themes out there. And I know pastors take them and then they, change them to more of their congregation or whatever.
I get it. I mean, it's but that's kind of the same thing that they used to do in radio, and I'm sure there's still some services out there. But when I was in radio, there was no digital. It was all on tape. So you would subscribe to this comedy service for the morning show, and they'd send you a tape full of stuff to use all week, or it could be daily, or that sort of thing. But it would come on as reel-to-reel tape, and it was a service, and everybody would go, that comedy commercial you guys did, that was so funny, but they didn't do it. It was somebody like in Los Angeles.
Yeah. And so again, they Assembly of God does have where you can, dial up a sermon series.
Is that what it's called? Dial up a sermon?
No. And you can use it in your church. And I'm a little bit sometimes. I think if you're a shepherd, unless God is calling you to a certain topic, and then you go research that topic, and then it's
I'm not
on
faulting anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just, like I said, I was disappointed. I thought these guys were all coming up all...
Some of them do. I know some speakers, their sermons they keep on their computer, and they'll like, what should I speak on today, and feel called, and they'll grab an old a sermon they did and use that on Sunday morning. Something.
So they're recycling their sermons.
Yes.
That's not right.
I don't think it's totally wrong if they feel led to talk on this certain subject, but again,
when I heard this, pull a Kamala, at least mix it up.
Yes.
Don't use the same thing. I mean, you can use the same topic. Just
our pastor's going through healthy series, healthy marriages, healthy church, healthy people, and I'm sure it's something he's got from somewhere else, but he put his own twist on it, and it's been very good. for our church. There's no doubt about it. It's been very constructive, but I wouldn't imagine that.
As I've
he
said
put it
several,
together himself.
as I've said several times, your pastor was my youth pastor, so you've been around a while.
Yes. As they say, there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah. I want to hear a little of this song.
Okay.
And this is Six Figure Sermon Writer.
Yeah. And it hits home.
It hits home or it hits hard?
It hits hard, home.
Should get you together with Steve Scott. You guys kind of sound alike. Yeah, that's
You
good.
like it?
Yeah, I like that guitar work.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
That's-
LeBron right there.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah. And I want to ask you some questions about another song, Secret Society of Sinners. Did you write that one? Were you the main writer on that
Were
one?
you trying to write tongue twisters as the titles? I mean, were you just trying to joke on everybody?
To answer your question, 90% of the album, I mean, with the exception of Six Figure Sermon Writer, all of the songs were kind of, I was the principal architect on it, lyrically and musically. And then LeBron came along, and then the rest of the band, you know, Jimmy tweaks the words, LeBron helps Jimmy, you know, they tweak stuff as they go. Nothing is ever completely etched in stone, because you know, when I write a song, I want people to be able to put their part on it, so they have ownership in it. So people are free to, you know, change things up, you know. And as far as my lyrics go, I tell them you can change my words, just don't change my meaning. But on Secret Society of Sinners, I'm pretty sure somebody was thinking it was going to be about the Illuminati or something. But man, that song, it was kind of a hard sell to the band, because the original version was like 8 minutes. And I finally got it whittled down to, I got it whittled down just a little over 6. You know, that song, it's one of those songs where the lyrics are more important than the music, if that makes sense. Even though I think the music is good, it's very prog rocky in the sense of, you know, you got different, you know, every verse is different. You know, it's a lot of that comes from my time as serving as a Sunday school teacher, as a deacon, you know, seeing the underbelly of the church. You know, if people would just be honest, you know, and confess, you know, to each other like the Bible tells us to, and James, you know, confess your sins to one another so that you may be healed. You know, our Christian walk would be a lot different. You know, imagine how many lies you tell your pastor, you know, or how many lies are told to your pastor as you're walking in. How you doing this morning? Oh, I'm good. No, you're not. No, you're not. Your marriage is falling apart. Your kids are a disaster, you know. You know, so, I mean, it's just, you know, as serving as a deacon, and as, you know, I grew up in the church. You know, probably the saddest, you know, one of the saddest days in the church that I had, I was a young teenager, and the pastor had to get up and, you know, had to resign because his wife was having an affair with a deacon, and that just, you know, rocked my world as a young person. I was like, who does it? Because I was friends with his daughter, this, that, and that thing. It was terrible. Completely ended this guy's, you know, life and ministry. And, you know, it's just, the song is, you know, trying to not only just break our facade as Christians, but, you know, let the world know that, you know, we're just as messed up as you are. The difference is we have a Savior. You know, we have hope. you know, we got to lose this facade that, that, unfortunately, celebrity pastors and all that kind of spin, get blessed, that, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. I don't want to
Name it, claim it.
Goldstein,
Well, I just saw. I wasn't prepared for this, and I don't know the guy's name, but I just saw this documentary not too long ago about a celebrity pastor. That's what made me think of this, where it's a young guy, and he's cornering like Instagram and all that with. So what he's doing is he's seeking out the right looking, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
People.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a Svengali. He's he's the piper, man, and he's getting these people all to follow him, and they're making TikTok videos and Instagram videos, and that just brings more people in. And all that seems to be really happening here is this guy's getting richer. That's all it seems to be happening, and and no one seems to care about it. And that's what bothers me is everybody looks the other way when people like Kenneth Copeland talks about his private jet that he got on a deal from, whoever. I got a problem. I got a problem. It goes back to your other song, I know.
I when I started looking at the lyrics for some of these songs of the secret society of sinners, I'm like, this is just about the church,
Yeah.
and the state of the church. And my dad gave me some of the best advice ever when he said, never become a deacon at a church, because you will see stuff that you don't want to see. And I've been involved in ministry at a church and seen some things. But the other advice both my parents gave me is people will always let you down. You have to continually keep your eyes on Christ. And that's what I've done. What people do in church and other things doesn't bother me as much as other people, because I have constantly kept my eyes on Christ. Because as you watch a series called The Chosen, and Jesus is with the disciples, and those men were as fragile and sin as other people are, and those men were the closest to Christ. Now again, it doesn't say they commit adultery or anything like that, but again, they constantly fall short in their belief for Christ. And so if these men can fall, anybody can fall. It just comes to a point where you have to be honest with yourself. We have a young man that became just sold out on Christ about 3 years ago, and he still battles with things, and he's very honest and upfront about it. And it's almost like what he says, this is what I go through. Like there's a hush, like, oh, we don't talk about that. I'm going, well, why aren't we talking about this? This is what the church is it's a healing ground. We need to be honest about ourselves. I think one of qualities I do have is I'm very self-aware. I know my faults. I know I know my limitations. And I think sometimes people get in the church and become involved in Christ, and they think, well, God will eventually take my faults away, when they don't want to work on those faults. They're just like going to disappear on their own, and that's not how it works. And so, but I love the song. I think it's great, and I think I hope it a lot of people listen to that song. When I look back in a couple of years and on Spotify and see how many people played certain songs, I'm hoping that one's pretty close to the top.
Well,
Nice monologue.
I think if people just read the lyrics. Thank you. I appreciate it. I think if people just read the lyrics, you know, they just did that. You know, it probably makes the song a little bit more, you know, meaningful. So,
And I want to thank you. I think you post all your lyrics on Bandcamp. You know, when you post the
it's on
song.
our website.
Okay.
Yeah, I do put them on Bandcamp. I put them everywhere that'll take them. Apple Music. But if you want to go to our website, there's a faithhead.com. There is a lyrics tab
Yeah.
where you can go and read all of our lyrics. You know, this is one of the things. This is kind of goes back to the beginning of the band. You know, I always, you know, to me, if you don't understand the words in the song, it kind of defeats the purpose. You know, people, you know, there's a lot of bands where it's all growl and guttural, and you don't have, you know, that's fine, that's a style, but, you know, if you don't understand what they're saying, how are you communicating the gospel? How are you communicating any type of message of hope or warning or repentance? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Got to have that lyric sheet to go along with it. And the other thing is even if you do understand it, because this happens to me all the time, even if you do understand all the words that are being said, if you read them, it could mean something different than what you think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, God didn't kill himself, you know, right off the bat. I'm sure that freaked a lot of people out. You know, just, you know, until you actually, if you judge the book by its cover, then you're thinking we're talking about some sort of, you know, self-deicide there, but that's not what we're talking about in that song. You know, because the lyrics are very specific. God didn't kill himself. Man did. Tried to take his place. So we're not implying
Hey,
God
just-
is dead in any form or fashion.
So just to touch back, because I found the name of that pastor I was talking about in that church.
Okay.
It's Hillsong Church.
Yeah.
Carl Lentz. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hillsong.
You guys know this guy.
Yeah, he was a fake and a phony from the start.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, I've been a Christian for a very long time, and very few times I see somebody and I'm like, you know,
Isn't it crazy?
I get, you know, fooled, you know, and most of the time it's here's another fake and phony.
Yeah.
Because people will fall for anything if they don't believe in something, and that's
That's what you got right now. Wow,
Yeah.
what a transition.
Yes.
So to speak.
I thought we were not saying that word.
Well, you got so many lost souls out there, and when I say lost souls, just take a look around. You got, when I say lost souls, I mean like no dad in the house, boys, males, men that clearly aren't men. And when I say that, I'm not talking transitioning. I'm just talking about weak men.
Yeah.
Go look at that Camelot commercial. I'm a man, and I drink, I eat carburetors for breakfast, and I vote for Camelot.
You know,
Stupid.
you gotta talk. You gotta write a song about masculinity. Masculine. I can't.
Yeah,
not that.
another title we won't be able to say. Masculinity.
Yes.
Say aluminum.
Huh? Wait for the next one.
Yeah.
Wait for the next album.
Is it going to be
There's
called
actually
Tongue?
two songs. There's two songs that didn't make it on the album, and one of them was specifically aimed at transgenderism, but it didn't make it.
Oh. Okay, I was trying to think of something to say. I have nothing.
Will it be the horror of things to come, part 2, or the horror has come?
I mean, the title track talks about it a little bit, but mainly that one's more about how evil is directed more, you know, all this evil in the world is directed at children. What a crappy job we're doing to push off,
Protect
you know,
them.
to defend our children from all of it. Yeah.
You know,
'Cause we're all gonna have to answer for that one.
I want to this has been on my mind lately, which is I see this whole. I'm shifting to what's going on in the world right now. I see this whole racist Hitler Nazi rhetoric garbage, and I'm not even on the garbage thing yet, but it seems to be, well, at least for the crazies out there. I'm talking about the crazies. It seems to be that we've got a little bit of satanic panic going on again. And what I'm getting at is like 85 years ago, I need to draw the similarities between Trump holding a rally at MSG today and a Hitler Nazi youth rally 85 years ago. And the first thing that I said was, well, wait a minute. Bruce Springsteen's played MSG. Bon Jovi's played MSG. Billy Joel constantly plays MSG. Yeah, how come nobody's yeah, Billy Graham. How come nobody's calling these Hitler Nazi youth rallies? It's just Donald Trump's. And that's where I go. It's like satanic panic. You're gonna see it wherever you want to see it. I'm not saying that some of that music back then wasn't bad, but it wasn't as prolific as some of those preachers that were making a whole lot of money off of it were making it out to be.
That'd be a good song, Satanic Panic.
Yeah.
You know.
Could do it about the satanic panic and just see it.
Okay.
But I mean, seriously.
Panic at the
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Satanic Panic at the Disco.
Get your horns
Aaron,
out. Get your horns out. Get your horns out.
Aaron, I can tell that Aaron really doesn't know Panic at the Disco, right?
No, I don't.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
It's a band.
Okay.
Panic at the Disco's a band.
Okay.
Eddie, is this music in the background distracting?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit to me.
All
But
right.
that's okay.
I just thought it was kind of cool to put it on in the background.
But you know, if a little lower would be good.
Well, here, let's see. Oh, it must be in between tracks.
Yeah, probably so.
Well, it's over.
So we've been hearing about this album. I mean, because we've had you on the show a ton of times. We do the undocumented facts shows with you, and you've been talking about this album and how it will target everybody. Everybody will be offended, and I was like, okay, how offending can a Christian album be? You know, because we're told to love one another and all that. And I started going through, and some of the songs, I told you my personal favorites, and I started looking at the lyrics, and I'm like, man, I should give this to my pastor just to start his sermon notes on, and see how many people will be at the church in 6 months, about half.
I'm sure he's going to think that's a great idea, Aaron.
Well, I think sometimes we can be a little too nice.
I agree with that statement. You used to have this conversation all the time with a liberal friend of mine who's, well, I'd say we used to have a conversation because we don't have any conversations anymore. But I got tired of beating my head against the wall. Anyhow, I would have to remind this person of the, Jesus going in and flipping over the table story, which is, something you learn about as a kid in Sunday school.
Yeah.
That's a basic one. And then to sit there and go, well, Jesus would never do that. No, I think he would. I think he would.
I think that's so good about The Chosen. It shows Jesus' frustration with the disciples and other people. And so go ahead.
Well, if you read the scriptures, there's a ton of stuff in there where he's like, how long do I have to put up with you? I've pointed this out to some people at my work. Jesus wasn't always, like,
tolerant.
okay, guys. be tolerant. No, he was not like that. He's like, I think he was on the boat, and he was like going across the Sea of Galilee. He's like, how long must I endure with you? And then the King James is how it says, but he's basically, how long do I have to put up with your crap? So
Seriously.
no, I think I mean, we didn't set out to offend anybody. That was never the goal. But when you call people to repentance, you're saying what you're doing is wrong, or you're hurting yourself. To me, this is an interventionist album. And there were some others. And there was 3 songs I really wanted to be on there that took it just a little further, and hopefully they'll be on the next. But the problem is with our current Christian culture, and this is my critique for today. We are supposed to love people, loving kindness, all that's all great. But if you truly love somebody, you'll tell them that they're screwing up. If you really love somebody, you will say you're killing yourself, or this lifestyle is going to lead you to an unfortunate end. Whatever. We have to, it's that whole salt and light thing. We have to be first we have to be in a place in our lives where we can do that. And like you guys, I'm beset by 1,000 little things. The big stuff, all that stuff, yeah, not a problem. It's the little things that get me on a daily basis. But, when you say you need to repent and believe, that in itself is what will offend people. If you look at a song like Secret Society of Sinners, where I'm talking about a pastor who's struggling with doubt, and he's got this congregation that doesn't care. Then you got his wife who wishes they were dead. Personal experience, folks. And then you got deacons and leaders in the church who are dealing with pornography. Wives of deacons are dealing with depression, and you got kids that are struggling with their sexual identity. I mean, these are all ugly things. They're not feel-good things, but they are reality. And we, as a church, we can't seem to talk about any of it because we're so obsessed with the facade. Satan has got us pinned because we are preoccupied with distraction. We're distracted with our phones. We're distracted by social media. The internet, for all of its great uses, is probably our greatest distraction ever. And the cell phone just made it that much more accessible. If you think about how often during the day you have a screen in your face. Screen in our faces. It's 1984 Big Brother all over, and that's.
I would ditch my phone altogether. I'd ditch my phone altogether. I have to have it for work.
Yeah, I told my wife I'd love to go back to I would, if I could, I'd go back to a flip phone in a heartbeat.
Yeah. These phones, they suck. I mean, and seriously though, I mean, you ever get on your phone and you're playing some game because you're bored, you got nothing else to do, whatever, you're waiting at the DMV or something like, and you just like, I've got 100 apps on here and I'm completely bored. I don't want to be in any of them. It's like the TV thing, I've got, going back to Bruce Springsteen, 57 channels and nothing on. Those were the days, 57 channels. Now I feel like, Marty McFly going turn on channel 30 and 18 and 22 and, and you got that big YouTube TV does it for the football games. You can watch multiple football games on one screen, which is, I don't know.
Fantastic.
Okay. I was going to say fantastic, but I don't think it's totally fantastic because I'm watching 2 games at once and I'm like, okay, this one's on a commercial. I better watch that one. But I get it for someone like you. You probably love it.
I do.
But anyways, too much. Here's the problem, P-Funk. This is what I think. We, as humans, need a carrot on a stick, sort of. You got to have something to work for. You got to have a goal. You got to have a reason for getting up every day and going to do whatever it is that you do. And we've taken that a lot of that away. DoorDash, YouTube TV, any TV streaming. I mean, there's really not a movie that you can't find if you look hard enough. I can find everything. And that's what I'm getting at is, like, I used to wait. Tuesdays were the release days for CDs, new CDs, Tuesdays. I used to wait for the Tuesday every week to see who's got the new one coming out. So I could go down to Tower and buy. I had to wait for it. Star Wars, you had to wait. Star Wars, you had to wait for the next one. 3 years, typically, until Disney bought it, and then they just crammed it down your throat. And what do we all think of Star Wars now? Yeah, we don't care. We don't care. It's not special anymore. What?
Please don't get me started.
Well, I think Rush Limbaugh coined it. A lot of people said, well, why don't you do a 4-hour show? He goes, I do a 2, but they want me to do a 3 because I always want you to come back tomorrow and wanting more.
Yeah.
You know, and all that. And we've got fast food. We got, food, Walmart plus delivery now and all that. And so, again, it's all at our fingertips. You know, you don't need to interact with people at all.
Yeah, last night and sometimes I don't want to interact, so that's okay. But last night, after I got out of work, it was like, okay, it's Friday night. We're going crabbing on Sunday, so I got one day of the weekend to do everything that I need to do. So I better cram what I can in tonight. So I'm out there getting my hair cut, paying bills, going grocery shopping. I'm finally rolling in at 8 o'clock at night after do it. And oh, yeah, we haven't even eaten dinner yet. So I don't know how I would have, without all these phones and services and all that, I don't even know how I'd make it without them. You know what? How did we do it in the 80s? Well,
we found a way.
Yeah, but that's the other thing is back in the 80s, people weren't instantly accessible. Like, you better answer your phone. Work's calling. Why didn't you answer your phone? I've gotten that talk several times, and my response is, oh, well, I'm off the clock. You can talk to me during business hours. Because, look, these countries are passing laws over Europe that you can't email people on their weekends. I mean, come on. It's a problem.
True.
It's a problem. Too much accessibility is a problem.
Yeah. We're seeing P-Funk right now, technology. which some of this is just great that what's happened. But as P-Funk says, and you said, yeah. And again, sometimes we stare at our phones and TVs too much and interact. I go back to this year. I found out I was gonna I do sports officiating at high schools, and so I come in and these young ladies are supposed to keep score during this volleyball match, and I say, please be off your phones, and the one girl says, don't worry, we will. We're not allowed to have our phones at school anymore, and we're so used to it. And they actually love it. Yeah. And they find where they're doing this, the suicide rate is down. Kids are less depressed because they're not living on the internet.
Yeah.
They're not living on Facebook.
I just read an article about a band, and it was a rather large band, but I can't remember who it is now. And they are doing the whole put your phone in the bag thing. I forget the name of the bag company, but we had to do it when we went to see Bill Burr. And you know what? It was great putting the phone away for the show. I know there's people out there like, oh, I got the kids at home and I got to have my phone and just put it away. We used to do this.
Yeah.
We used to do this.
Does you said one of your bandmates is on a deer stand this weekend? Did he have his phone with him?
Yeah.
I would say I doubt it.
Oh, I'm sure Dale is out there somewhere, you know, got his phone checking stuff in between. But
Well, we don't have much longer, so I wanted to ask you about the, just the news cycle of the last week. What do you make of it, P-Funk?
it's the end of the world, and we know it. It's the end of the world, as we know it.
Well, you guys.
I feel fine.
Well, the Steve Taylor song that doesn't have the notoriety as that one does. Since I've given up hope, I feel a lot better, you know. And so, if you haven't heard that song, yeah, check it out because it was before its time.
Who's it by?
Since I've given, Steve Taylor,
Who's-
and the song is called "Since I've Given Up Hope, I Feel a Lot Better," and it's a great song.
I used to sing that song to myself all the time at my last job. Not a joke.
Yeah,
Not a joke. There's my Joe Biden. It's not a joke.
yeah. I had a guy at work, and he would be like complaining about things. I'm like, well, just do what I do, Max.
Since I gave up hope, I
Since
feel a
I
lot
give up
better.
a hope,
Yeah,
I feel a lot better. And
it works.
yeah, and it was just it was satire on people that kind of like washed their hands of the society without getting in there and getting things done. You know, if Trump wins Tuesday, I think he has a lot of people to thank that instead of when 2020 happened, instead of going, oh, there's nothing we can do about certain things, ballot harvesting or whatever, they decided to dig in and do it themselves and get people to vote and go out and door knock and do it the old-fashioned way
Well,
and talk to people.
Seriously.
And
Seriously, this is what I was saying this
Yeah.
week. I'm going to cut you off.
Go ahead.
It's pure Trump. You know, every time I see him do one of these stunts, I go, that's why people love him. That's why, right there. That's why he's winning. Rolls up and in true Trump style says, "What do you think of my garbage truck?"
that was fantastic.
It was. It took so little, and then you had Vivek Ramaswamy out there working a garbage truck with some people, and nobody. Look, if you think any of these things are not staged, you're an idiot. Okay, I've said it straight out. You're not that bright. They're all staged. Okay, they're all staged. However, what I see is a group of guys. It's all a group of guys, Elon and Vivek and Trump. Huh?
Tucker?
And no, not so much Tucker.
Oh, he's been on that.
I know, but he's not out doing what Vivek and
He's been at all the rallies.
yeah, but he's not out doing these stunts. Is
Oh,
what I'm
okay.
getting at.
Yes,
okay?
okay,
He's
yeah,
not
okay.
doing what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
And but here's the thing: is I don't see that coming from anybody on the other side. And all you're witnessing is old school shaking babies and kissing hands. That's all you're seeing.
Yeah.
And the left can't figure it out for some reason. And I don't know. I think I could have run a better campaign for Kamala Harris than whoever's doing it. I can tell you that right now. And by the way,
Dave, sometimes it's all about the candidate.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't be.
What do you think about her not making it on Rogan? They were trying to whittle her down
I
to
think-
an hour.
I don't think that she ever intended to go on Rogan because her people know that Rogan does tell me the last 1 hour Rogan podcast that you can find. Okay, they're usually if they're 2 hours, I go, wow, that was short. Okay, so she cannot do an off the cuff interview, and then and here's the sign. By the way, here's the sign that she never intended to do it. She wanted Rogan to fly to her. If she really wanted to do it, she would have got on the plane and flew out there.
She's just so busy, Dave.
Yeah,
campaigning.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But
we work hard. That's the other thing. I'm so tired of hearing from the, any politician that says it, I go red flag, but I mostly hear it from the left. And it's these phrases. Let me be clear. If they say, let me be clear, get your shovel out because it's going to get deep. If they start anything by saying, let me be clear, you don't have to throw that in. I went to some college, and that was one of the things that they taught us. It was one of also the things they taught us in radio, which is if it doesn't have anything to add to the conversation, it's filler and you don't need it. Let me be clear is a filler. I want you to be clear anyways. You're speaking to me.
Let me be honest with you.
Yeah. Let me be honest. These are all the tell.
Let me be honest with you.
And the other one that I hear, I hear it mostly from KJP, which I'll tell you what I said about KJP last night, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. Is if she likes the phrase, we've been working hard. We've been working hard. It's a lot of hard work. And Kamala's out there working hard on the campaign trail while Joe's working hard to destroy your campaign. I think Jill's behind all the sabotage with Joe. I think Jill is behind it. Oh no, honey, this is going to be great. Get on the Zoom call.
I just love how he wants to go out and campaign for her, and they're like,
nah,
we're good. Thanks, but no thanks.
No, we're good. Yeah, we got enough people. You go back to that beach and relax. So here's what I said about KJP. I say this a lot too. This poor woman. She
have a nice job at MSNBC or CNN.
This is honestly how I feel about Corinne Jean-Pierre. She is 1,000% horrible at her job. She is horrible at her job. But I don't think she's a bad person.
Okay.
I think that every day that she rolls into work, she's like, are you kidding me? I've got to go out and deal with this now? What did he say today? What did he do today? That's what I think she's stacked up against.
She is a word janitor. She is always cleaning up the words.
Yeah, and then this is where I get the most respect for her, because hate me if you want, we all know it's true. She was a DEI hire because she's clearly horrible at her job. Okay, and I like her. I don't know why, but I like her. But she's horrible at her job. Okay, get her something else to do. But this is where I gain respect for her. When they were grumbling and were saying that they were going to get her out of there, she pulled that DEI card, and they backed off. And that's exactly what I would have done. In fact, they backed off so much they gave her a promotion. So
good times.
Yeah.
Again, her last day is January.
We sure hope so.
6 or whatever it is.
We sure hope so. I am going to miss the Bidenisms. I said that all along. I said that before he got elected. I went, if he does get elected, at least we're at a minimum, we're going to get 4 years of Bidenisms, just like 4 years of Bushisms or 8 years of Bushisms, really. And he hasn't disappointed. He's fantastic. Yeah, go on out. Call them all garbage. We'll put an apostrophe on it and it'll be fine.
You know, the one thing about the campaign, seriously, though, is it's been nice to get to know who J.D. Vance is as a person.
Is that guy? What? I keep waiting for the other shoe to fall on J.D. Vance.
I do, too.
I don't have daughters, but if I had a daughter and J.D. Vance was trying to take her to the prom, I'd be having a little talk with him. I'd be like, "You're a little too good. Something's up here." And don't let me find out.
Yeah, he seems a little squeaky clean to some things, but he's a legit guy, and I'm sure they've gone over him with a fine-tune comb and can't find anything, and so he's real as real can get, and he's been refreshing because even though some things he's said, I probably wouldn't have said it that way.
We all have those.
Yes, but he's been extremely honest about.
I think he's been.
Right.
Yeah, I think he's been honest about lots of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is what I find funny about. Well, first of all, Trump, he's a Teflon Don. It doesn't matter what they try to throw at this guy. It slides right off in a puddle of cool. J.D. Vance, you remember back when Bill Clinton was on Arsenio and it was such a big deal that he had smoked pot. And Arsenio asked him, it was a big moment, right? I didn't inhale. That is in contrast to the interview that he did with Theo Vaughn, where Theo Vaughn says, "We got a problem. I can't even buy cocaine in America anymore without fentanyl in it." How does he? That's not what I'm getting at. That's how good he is about it. Is even though that's a touchy subject, and how are you going to answer? That's really what I want to know. How are you going to answer that? And he did. I don't remember how. What's that?
I said, I don't know how. There's some serious first world problems there.
Yeah, yeah, really. But I mean, you get the point that he's making. Is look, we got a fentanyl crisis, is what he was getting at, and how are you going to fix this? He's just speaking from where Theo Vaughn was at, which is, I can't buy coke, but I'm not advocating for doing coke. What I'm getting at is the point, and just the fact that I have to sit here and explain it explains my point, which is that just slid right off. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. In fact, you could have done anything with that clip, CNN. Instead, you took the Liz Cheney clip and totally cut it up into pieces, and then sewed it back together to form your narrative. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. P-Funk, Faith Head on the socials.
Yep. We'll put all the links on the site and the podcast.
Is it Faith Head or Faith Head Band?
On socials, it's Faithhead Band. Our website is faithhead.com. If you get a chance to go out and buy the album, we still have a few CDs left. They make some great coasters. You get a digital download with that. Please help us support the band. We got some bills that we got to pay coming up for the first of the year, and we got a road trip to Memphis that we got to pay for. Of course, apparently we're going to Memphis. We're going to have hired security, assuming that it's still there post-election. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, just an idea for you, P-Funk. Sell a few more of those CDs, okay? Then take the 3 songs that you have waiting for the next album, re-release the CD as a deluxe package with 3 previously unreleased tracks, and then you can sell it again.
The extended version, or whatever you want to call it. turn that one song into
Found me out.
Hey, P-Funk and all, it's scenario. Just love the album. Looking now forward to another year and a half, and for the other album. But great work.
So optimistic.
Encourage you all. To all go listen to it, Spotify or whatever, and buy the CD. I know you'll love it. So thank you for coming on and taking time and all that, and enjoy your weekend.
Hey, one last thing, P-Funk, one last thing.
Sure.
I want you to go tell LeBron that I put him in the same category as Yngwie Malmsteen and Nina Betancourt. And when he gets really excited about that, tell him it's only because of his name, though.
Well, I will. Now Tyler is that shredder type. So the opening solo on Whores and all that, and that's the opening solo on Aberration. He's a shredder. I think one of my favorites on the album is Mercy and Grace, though. It's probably one of the best. But hey, listen, let's schedule a post-election session so we can kind of talk about what's going to happen. So let's
February.
February.
Yeah.
got a little bit
All right.
of
All
time
right.
to hang out.
Yeah. Thank you, like this, for your time today, and just as I said, have a great weekend, have a great day, and to all those listening, happy trails.
Happy trails.